Hello, everyone, and welcome to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. I am your host, Kevin Reed, and this is the review of Predator Badlands, the seventh overall film in the Predator franchise, the ninth, if you want to count the Alien versus Predator films, which I don't. So this is the sixth live action film. This is the second Predator film that we're receiving just this year. Yes, we got a animated Predator film, Predator Killer of Killers, which premiered on Hulu earlier this year, which was awesome. That film was directed by Dan Trachtenberg. He also directed the last live action adaptation to this franchise with Prey. And now with Predator Badlands, this film stars Elle Fanning and Demetrius Strutter, I believe his name is, who plays our lead Predator in this film. Predator Badlands tells the story of a young Predator outcast from his clan finding a unlikely ally on his journey in search of the ultimate adversary. This is the first film in this storied franchise to tell the story from the perspective of the Predator. This is a trope in 2025. We getting films that we would normally see from, our perspective or the hero's perspective, and we're flipping them. Earlier this year we got a ghost story that was told from the perspective of a ghost. And about a month ago, we got a haunted house story told from the perspective of a dog. And both of those films were good. They were good films, because they were unique, different, original. And this is the same thing. Unique, different, and original. We're used to seeing a predator as a predator, man. Just ultimate killing machine, unstoppable killing machine on the hunt, can't be negotiated with, can't be reasoned with, but is out to kill, is out to hunt the biggest prey there is. And in most films, it's here on Earth. And who is the most deadliest villain? Humans. Humans. We are the most deadliest villains. So, or prey, I should say, not villains. Not all of us are villains, even though it's hard to look at it from that perspective if you look at the news and on social media. But that's neither here nor there. But this film, we don't have not one single human being in this film, character-wise. There are no humans to be hunted. It is predators and scents and other creatures. That's it, I know a lot of how can I put it? A lot of deterrent came from the fact that this film is PG-13. When people found out it was PG-13, immediately they turned their brains off. Like, a Predator film, PG-13, I don't want to see it. Let me assure you, that don't mean nothing. The only reason it's PG-13 is because there's no human beings. The violence is there. You get decapitations within the first 10 minutes of this movie. There's no skipping on the violence in a Predator. This is probably the most violent Predator movie, or one of the most violent Predator movies you're going to find. Very violent. It's just no red blood. There's a lot of other blood, but no red blood. This is definitely a violent film. I had such a good time with this movie. I was super excited for this film, being a fan of Predator. I've loved Predator from the beginning. I remember watching it with my dad, the original Predator with Arnold Schwarzenegger and Carl Weathers and Jesse Ventura, and just in awe of this movie because never seen a movie like this before. A movie with these mercenaries or soldiers of fortune and just big, burly, just full of testosterone in that movie. I mean, everybody looked like they were on steroids. I'm not trying to start any rumors here, but that just nothing but big muscles, big guns, and big explosions. And, you know, it was 80s. It was the 80s, and a typical 80s action movie. And then he got flipped on his head and turned into this sci-fi kind of a horror film when the Predator showed up. And it was like, wow. And he's taking out all of these guys who, on their worst day, can destroy all of us, you know? And it was just amazing. And we get Predator 2 and, you know, all the other Predator films in the franchise. And it was the law of diminishing returns pretty much after all of that. But recently, with Dan Trachtenberg being the helm of this franchise, you know, starting with Prey, he really, I'm not going to say rejuvenized this franchise, but he just dumped a whole gallon of steroids into it and turned it up to 11. Prey started off, it gave you that same feel and vibe of the original. You know, it felt contained in that story, and it was one of my favorite movies of the year that year it came out. And so when Killer of Killers came out earlier this year, animated, once again a little worried because it was animated, but no, it was great. I was super excited for Badlands, and I already knew when they announced this that Dan Trachtenberg had already said that he was going to tell it from this perspective of the Predator. I'm like, okay, that's interesting. You know, because we look at these things as mindless creatures, even though they're super intelligent, highly intelligent, have technology out of this world, and go on these hunts, but they don't speak, don't show any emotion or nothing like that. So it's like, okay, how are we going to tell that story? It was told in such a good way. I honestly, now I'm gonna tell you straight off the bat, it's not a perfect movie. It's not perfect, but it is probably the most fun I've had in this franchise in a very long time. Speaking of Prey, going back to that, Disney 20th Century Studios, they messed up. They messed up when they dumped that film on Hulu because I guess they didn't have too much faith in the franchise, didn't think it was going to be a moneymaker and be well received like it was. So they kind of lost money, even though it was highly rated on Hulu, still is, I believe, and rightfully so. But they lost millions because seeing that in the theater would have been a joy. And so they put this in theaters, and it was a joy. I'm so glad this was made for the theaters. There's no other way to watch this movie. This movie is so beautifully shot. Oh my God, this is a gorgeous film. Let's start with Elle Fanning. Let's talk about Elle Fanning here, man. I've been a fan of Elle Fanning since Super 8. Do you remember that movie, J.J. Abrams film from a couple of years ago? I've been a fan of hers since she was little. Of course, she's the sister of Dakota. And so, you know, she has a little talent in her. But I never really paid attention to her acting skills. You know what I'm saying? I always enjoyed her in what she was in, but I never really looked at her as being somebody who can carry a movie. She's not the quote unquote star per se, because that's the Predator. But man, she almost she stole it. I'm sorry. She stole this movie. Elle Fanning was incredible. And I'm not going to get into it too much because I don't think the trailers really spoiled it. So I'm not going to spoil it either. But her character is much more, how can I say this without without spoiling it? Well, I'll just leave it at that. I'll leave before I get in trouble. Great. She was awesome. She was awesome every time she's on screen. I'll put it like that. Every time she's on screen, she is fantastic. Fantastic. The actor who plays the Predator here, our hero, oddly to say, he also did a good job under all those prosthetics and I guess with the help of some CGI as well with his makeup. That's another thing that a lot of people were kind of upset with, going off of some posts and comments that I read in regards to this, was his makeup. He doesn't look like a Predator that we know from past films, and he doesn't. And the movie explains why. Because I wasn't at first. I don't know about this, but there's a reason for this, and there's a reason why his character is the way that he is, and it worked. It absolutely worked. It's so simple, and it worked. The planet that he's on, the planet that he goes on this hunt, this ultimate hunt, is it's described as the worst, the most dangerous planet on Earth. On Earth, that makes no sense. In the universe, and it is. Everything, literally everything on that planet can kill you. Every little bit, the trees can kill you. The flowers can kill you. The little bitty bugs can kill you. Everything on this planet can kill you. And it was a fun adventure for this character. It was like playing a video game. It was different levels, different stages that he went through to get to this ultimate kill that he was after, that is pretty much impossible. It's the one thing you cannot kill. And that was the mission he set himself out on. And man, that creature, my God, I'm sitting there. I was worried for him. I was worried for a Predator, which talks or speaks to Dan Trachtenberg, to make you feel sympathy for a Predator. And they did it. The way that the Predator and Elle Fanning's character developed this buddy relationship in the film is also well earned, and it worked for the most part. And I say most part, which leads me into my little negatives about the film. There is a lot of humor in this movie, and I'm cool with the humor. I'm cool with the humor. It was just a lot. And a couple of moments were, it just didn't connect with me. And now there were a couple of people in the theater I was in who kind of chuckled, but I was, it was a nice joke, but I'm here to see Predator. I didn't want to laugh, and it was just kind of misplaced jokes to me. I didn't. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being a purist. And that's another negative. If you are a purist, a Predator purist that just want to see a Predator go out on a hunt and kill, and is a big fan of the previous films and don't want a new direction to this character, this probably not going to be the movie for you. I could see somebody saying they hate it, who is a giant fan of the first film. I can see that happening, and I wouldn't fight you on it. But if you go into this with an open mind, knowing that you're getting a new story, a different story, and it isn't like it's that same Predator. This isn't the Predator, a flashback or a prequel to the Predator that went and hunted down Danny Glover in part 2, or the one that hunted down Arnold Schwarzenegger in the jungle. No, this is a completely different Predator, and you would expect all of them to be different. We're all different. Why can't the Yosha be different? And that's the name of their species, Yosha. So I just go in with an open mind if you're that type of person. And trust me, I am the biggest Predator. I've seen every single one of these movies. Loved them all for their own particular, even the Predator, which sucks. But there are some redeeming moments in that movie that makes it watchable. But I don't stand on, oh, this isn't my Predator. That's not the case. This was super fun. Those are my only real negatives about the movie. Everything else was great. The action was fantastic. Uh, it was one more. There's a moment, well, not a moment, but like the first act, it opens great. The first 15, 20 minutes were fantastic. And then it kind of hits the brakes a little bit, slows down until we get to the second act. And then it ramps back up again. And once it ramps back up at that moment, it never stops. But that moment between the opening of the film and the start of the second act of the film, it's a little dry. It got a little boring. But once it ramps back up, you forget all about that. So it doesn't affect my grading or my excitement for the movie, that little period. And it only lasted for about 15 minutes, and it was some interesting stuff in there, more story driven at that point. But it just, I wanted a little more action in that area and I didn't get it, but just be patient because, because there is plenty in store. There's a lot of action here, a lot of brutality in this film, a lot of, and dare I say, a lot of heart. There is some heart in this movie. I had a really good time. Is it one of the best Predator films of all time? No, I would probably put it, I would put it third. Yeah, third. Just behind the original Prey and then this. That would be it. And then right behind that would be Predator 2 and Predators. Yeah, I'll probably do it that way. Now that's me not sitting down and really ranking. I don't think I ever ranked the Predator films. I probably did, but it changes from week to week. But it's up there. It's up there. It's definitely 3 or 4. But right now, it's the third best Predator film in the franchise, and that's not bad out of 9 tries. But Dan Trachtenberg, good job, man. He just give him give him this franchise and let him cook. He is 3 for 3 with me. Predator Badlands gets a letter grade of a B+. Yeah, man, a really good film. It's odd that this came out in November. It felt like a summer movie. I'm sitting in there and it felt like a summer release, but we're in November. It was an odd time to release this movie. I guess they didn't want to get lost in the sauce with all of those big releases and all this here, but hey, it's all good. I don't care when it came out. I'm just happy that I was here to see it. I would like to know, did you check out Predator Badlands? Did you enjoy it? Do you plan to go check it out? And what is your favorite Predator movie of all time? Let me know. Email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. You can also search for the show on all social media platforms. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, don't forget about YouTube, ladies and gentlemen. Subscribe to the KB Radio Network channel and like this video if you don't mind. Don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the concession stand here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this review of Predator Badlands. Want you all to know that I love you, continue to love everyone, and until we speak again, you all be blessed.